Hey photographer, Jessica Whitaker here. In this video, I am sharing creative ways to capture portraits in direct sunlight. I want to introduce to you a tool that makes it possible to get photos in harsh light that actually look good. It's called an ND filter and it works like sunglasses for your camera. Here's why it matters. In the middle of the day, the sun is so bright that your camera has to make a tough choice. Either your subject looks good and the background's blown out, or the background looks right, but then your subject's face is way too dark. So the ND filter fixes that. This screws onto your lens. By cutting down the light, it evens everything out so your subject and the background can look good at the same time. You'll hear the word stop when people talk about ND filters, but I don't want you to overthink this. A stop just means a step of brightness. So one stop darker means the picture is half as bright. One stop brighter means that it's twice as bright. But literally, you guys, don't even worry about the whole stop concept right now. You can just think of it as little steps up or down. ND filters are labeled by how many stops they block. But here's the thing, as a beginner, you are going to get something called a variable ND filter. So instead of buying all these separate filters, a variable ND is all of them in one. You just twist the ring and it's going to get darker or lighter. Think of it as like a dimmer switch for your lens. So I'm going to link some options down below. Make sure you order the right size for your lens. So the size that you'll need is usually printed right next to the glass. We're using digital cameras, so we can just twist this and adjust it until it looks right. We can eyeball it. Some people ask if this is just like underexposing, and the answer is no, it's not. Underexposing means that you're letting in too much light and then you're forcing the camera to darken it, which gives you less detail in a flat file. An ND filter is different because it's blocking the extra light before it even hits the sensor of the camera. That means that your photo is already balanced in camera and it will edit like a normal, well-exposed shot in Lightroom. Okay, so close up, you guys, of what the ND filter looks like. So I have my ND filter on the lens and you just screw this onto your lens. It's amazing, super simple. And then you're able to take this ring and just move it. Do you guys see how it like reflects like that purpley? So that's how you know, for whatever reason, that's the science that you know it's working. First up is a bubble machine. And I actually got this idea when I was driving to therapy and I noticed some bubbles coming down near the car. There was a woman who was doing a bubble machine from the top of her balcony. And I was like, wait a second, how magical would that be in a photo shoot? And it makes perfect sense for direct sunlight because the bubbles add three things that make the styling come alive: color, texture, and shine. And this is a common theme that we'll talk about throughout this video. Color, texture, and shine is something I always ask myself when I'm styling a shoot. Is this choice, whether it's a prop or an outfit, is it adding color, texture, or shine? And ideally all three. And this is just a good styling tip, even if you're just picking out outfits for photos. So for example, let's say that you're the client and you're choosing between a simple green dress or another green dress that has maybe a metallic fabric, like a sequin. The second option instantly photographs with more dimension and interest than just a simple cotton green dress. And that's exactly what the bubbles are gonna do for us. They're gonna catch the sunlight, they're gonna shimmer with a rainbow color, and they add this layer of texture floating through the frame. Now let's talk about reflective objects. This is the next creative technique, and it's when we're putting something up against our camera lens. And if you've been watching me on YouTube for the past 10 years, you would know that this is something that I love to do, especially when I was first starting out on my channel. It can be as simple as bringing a flower petal up to the lens, but what I want to do is, because we're already playing with the light so much, I want to bring in something metallic up to the camera lens, which is gonna bring in some of that shine. So I remember I would bring my iPhone up to the lens to bring in some lights because it reflected as this hazy metallic light, especially when you're in a pinch. You could also use car keys, your jewelry. For example, let's say a necklace with some rhinestones on it. I do this all the time and I love it because necklaces are a long string. You have a bit of freedom and flexibility to maneuver it a bit more than something like a flat object like a key or an iPhone. Another amazing thing that you can do is bring in a crystal. Now, this is just throwing it back to the 2014 days when prisms were popping off. I'm really sad because I don't know where my prism is. I looked for it before this video. I think that it got lost at a move, but I love to go antiquing and I'm always on the lookout for vintage chandelier crystals. So I brought one with me, and this is an amazing thing to bring up to the lens. You could even do tinfoil. I have even done before a gum wrapper, the ones that are metallic silver, that was on the ground and I held it against my lens. You could even take your earring off and use it against the lens, like I said, the keys before, or even a plastic Ziploc bag. Next up is fabrics, whether this is going in front of the lens or your model is going to be holding it. The go-to that I suggest for you guys to start with is to thrift a crochet tablecloth, and there's so much variety out there with amazing patterns, colors. This is one of my favorite ways to bring in some texture and interest, whether you're shooting in the direct sunlight or not. Once you start opening your mind to this, you're going to come upon so many different objects and ideas and textiles that will spark your interest. Next up is one of my favorite throwbacks, overlays. And back in 2017, this was actually like my signature move. I would take a tube of chapstick, specifically Glossier's Rose Balm.com, and smear it on a lens filter and not on the lens itself. So don't panic. I used a clear filter, which is basically the same idea as the ND filter, but it doesn't change anything about your camera. It's more of like a protective layer between the glass and the elements. It gives this dreamy, hazy glow. It's very ethereal and kind of fuzzy and nostalgic. And you do want to be intentional about where you're going to place the chapstick. For me, I avoid the eyes, lips, cheekbones because I don't want to obstruct those features. But if you do, make that intentional choice. And because it's on a clear filter, you can wipe it away and reapply as many times as you need. That's one kind of overlay. The other way is to use overlays in color. So instead of reflecting light like mirrors or prisms, add tinted washes right across your frame. You don't need to buy expensive gels. Gels are like sheets of colored plastic that are used in theater and film. Instead, try things that you already have. Maybe a sibling's hot pink see-through pencil box, a piece of colored cellophane. Even a Ziploc bag can create interesting haze if you crinkle it up. And if you want to really play with it, you can buy a cheap pack of colored cellophane sheets and hold them right in front of your lens. Or just cover one side to bring in the tint of that color and texture. You could also use thrifted glass bottles in cool shades. That works beautifully. The idea with overlays is simple. They blend, they soften, or they tint the light before it even reaches your camera. It's another way to take that strong sunlight and make it creative. If you're a photographer looking to join a kind, encouraging, inclusive photography community, check out my free Facebook group called Build and Bloom. This is the best place to ask questions about your specific photography business without fear of judgment. It's a kind place where there are no dumb questions. Whether you want help drafting a response to a difficult client situation, or you just want an extra set of eyes on a gallery before you send it to a client, Build and Bloom is my best free resource. Find it on Facebook groups. You can also listen and learn to the Build and Bloom Photography podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I believe in you and I believe in your business. Be sure to hit subscribe so you're the first to know when new free videos for your business come out, and I will see you in my next video. Click right here to watch and to learn. I'll see you there.